Hey everybody. Today is Friday, December 15th, 2023, the day we were not supposed to have a show. But that's my fault. Um, for some reason, again, last night I could not keep my eyes open and I couldn't stay awake for Zane to get here and do the show we were supposed to do yesterday. So I apologize. It's my fault. So that's why Zane isn't here and why I am here, which I'm not supposed to be. But we have some really important things to talk about today. And I think it all kind of runs together. And so with us today, we have our man on the street, Brent. How's it going, Brent?
Great, Gene. I'm moving up to the big time. I'm on Friday's show again. Without Zane. This is crazy. I don't even know what to do. I'm like, blah, 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 blah.
Well,
I get to pick the dumbass of the week. Holy cow.
we got some heavy
Man.
topics to go through, man. So I hope you're ready.
Oh, I'm ready for it, man. This is going to be fun.
Okay, so just kind of like these are going to run together. I want to talk about the contempt of Congress that Republicans are trying to use against Hunter Biden. And I also want to kind of tie it into the whole theory of
The impeachment?
impeachment. That's what it was. Yeah, thanks, man. Brain
No
fart.
problem. Hey, I don't know if you told people to subscribe yet. Did you?
I was gonna save that till later, man, because I just kind of want to jump into this, man. We're gonna spend a lot of time on this, I think. So
Right on.
yeah, um, but anyway, I just kind of want to again jump into Hunter Biden first for a little bit because he was subpoenaed to go to Congress today, which there's a whole lot of hypocrisy in that, to testify before the House Judiciary Committee behind closed doors. And Hunter Biden showed up on the steps of the Capitol, gave his press conference that said, I'm here. I am willing to testify before the House Judiciary Committee, but I want it to be done in public. And so now, because, Republicans in Congress hate being, pushed back, they want to file contempt of Congress charges against Hunter Biden for not showing up to the closed door session. And I find that rich coming from the committee chair, Jim Jordan, who himself is in violation of a subpoena from Congress to show up for the January 6th Select Committee. So, hello, pot, this is the kettle talking. You're a farging hypocrite, okay? Don't try and say somebody else is in contempt when you yourself are in contempt. But that's GOP hypocrisy. What do you think, Brent?
Yeah, it just seems like they're setting a bad example on that. There's one person after another not showing up for any like congressional meeting. Steve Bannon. You like name it. It's just like a freebie now. It's like, well, you don't really have to show up anymore. You just have to have your other political parties support you and call it bad or whatever, and then just kind of blow it all off, I guess. But if I was in Hunter's shoes, I would do the same thing. I want to go ahead and make my statement known in public, not behind closed doors. I want to do it in free range of the TVs, which really shouldn't even be in Congress to begin with. But that's a story for another day.
But that's only
But
C-SPAN. C-SPAN are the only ones that are allowed to broadcast those hearings.
yeah, but then everyone sees them, and then they have all these political talking points on it. And then the only thing that it seems like a lot of congressional people do is they use that to further their career instead of doing any type of meaningful business.
So
A lot of the meaningful business is done behind closed doors, or it's or funny things happen behind closed doors to go ahead and draw people like Hunter Biden into conversations, and then they can only use bits and pieces of that
say
if
that
they want to and weaponize it against him. So he's smart. by using the cameras against them,
You're right.
basically.
You're right. But see, that's why I like C-SPAN, because they're just broadcasting what's live. So someone like me, who has their education in law, can listen and understand and know the difference of what's happening versus when they get in front of the camera and try and spin it. That's why I watch C-SPAN.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I know a lot of people that love watching. I just watched it the other day. You do kind of get, for me, I'm a fan of the Constitution. I'm a fan of law. I mean, I love hearing about it. I love studying up on it. So that is a great ability to watch it. It's just I know it could also be kind of misused, I think, too, with them knowing about the cameras on them and what they're gonna say and do. There's a lot of more political talking points instead of law being discussed.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because let's go ahead and let the cat out of the bag and bring out the second topic, and then we can just roll with both of them. And that's the
Okay.
impeachment thing. Um, Congress yesterday voted to authorize an official impeachment inquiry against President Joe Biden. Now, when asked, and again, I've watched the proceedings, they've presented no evidence, they've stated no crime, but they want power to subpoena so they can go in mission and look for evidence to support a theory. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, they're looking for a crime instead of being able to actually know what crime was committed. I mean, they already had plenty of opportunity to go. They already interviewed Biden, whatever, or Hunter back in 2017 or 18.
Yeah, they took his deposition.
Yeah, so I mean, they're going to keep on nitpicking and trying to build a case out of thin air this way.
But see, here's the thing, Brent. All right, so just because Congress issues a subpoena doesn't mean you necessarily have to just agree with it. You can also file a motion to quash, which means your subpoena is worthless, it's not based in the law, and therefore it is illegal and I don't have to comply with it. And so, because they have stated no crime, because they have presented no evidence, any subpoena they issue will be challenged on the grounds of violating the Fourth Amendment, which means you have to have probable cause, which they've stated none.
I wonder why Hunter didn't do it.
Because Hunter's not being impeached, his dad is. But they're
Well,
using
I know.
Hunter to try and
Yeah,
find dirt on his dad.
I mean, couldn't Hunter argue that same point for the subpoena?
Definitely. Definitely, I believe he could. And I think if they try and issue any contempt proceedings against him, they will be rapidly dismissed because of their obvious incompetence, in running the House of Representatives. They have no clue what they're doing.
I'm at. Why is the Republican Party too? Why are they impeaching him now, right during the election cycle, a month before Iowa? I'm at. Why is this happening right now? Is what I keep on asking myself. Didn't they not know this a year ago when they had control? I mean, why did they wait a year? Did Kevin McCarthy? I mean, they were talking about this for a long time. It seems like this is planned chaos to try to get a lot of more political donations too and get interest going against basically to smear, to throw muck at Biden and his family.
That's
I mean,
all it is. You're right. And there's one obvious answer to your question. And that is because Cadet Bone Spurs is under 91 felony federal or criminal indictments, and he wants to try and do the same thing against his political opponent to try and level the playing field. The difference is President Biden has not done anything. There has been no high crime or misdemeanor that he has done, or Republicans would be happy to say what that crime is, but they can't do it because they have nothing.
Yeah, they've been trying to work this for a long time, and that they were bringing this, but Trump was bringing this up during his presidential run in 2015, talking about Biden's, about Hunter and Ukraine and China. I think he worked for an energy company in Ukraine. Forgot what he did for China.
Another energy company.
Another energy company.
Yeah.
And then it just is. It's just, they had all this time to pull this together. They had people in Ukraine, so supposedly that was working on this corruption case.
They sent Giuliani and Lev Parnas there to dig up dirt.
Exactly. So how much digging can you do? I mean, if there's nothing in the grave, I mean, you got to go ahead and put down the shovel, right?
That's logical way of thinking, yeah.
Man.
But
so go. I mean, okay, well, I keep on thinking about this too with Hunter and him being tried again, and for a crime, they couldn't even commit the first time, but usually a criminal doesn't keep on getting tried over and over again for a crime if he, this is a term they call double jeopardy. If he was, if they actually said he's a crime and there was a crime, they said he committed whatever, and they couldn't prove it the first time, and that, why are they continually doing that? And it's going to basically, what happens is you start losing faith in the political system.
So again, man, there's only one reason they do that, Brent, and it's to muddy the waters. Okay, number one, because Cadet Bone Spurs was impeached twice, they want to now impeach Joe Biden. But the things that Hunter Biden did and the money that changed hands between Joe and Hunter to buy a car, he loaned his son money to buy a car. This is when Hunter was going through a hard time. While Joe was vice president, Hunter paid him back in installments. And they're saying, smoking guns. See, there's the payments to Joe Biden. And it's to pay back a car loan, number one. Number two, Joe Biden was not president of the United States then, so you cannot impeach him for something he didn't do. He wasn't the president, so you can't impeach him. And the statute of limitations has run because they left office past 7 years ago. So yeah. There's nothing to do here when it comes to that. And Joe Biden did nothing. Hunter Biden never worked in the White House. He never worked in the White House, but they will say nothing about all the money that Ivanka and Jared Kushner made while they were working in the White House for daddy. They're just a bunch of hypocrites, and that's their answer. They're hypocrites. Cadet Bone Spurs wants to say, well, you can't try me because I've already been tried. They've already impeached me. I've been tried already in Congress, right? The thing is, double jeopardy doesn't apply unless you're in a court case. So
yeah, that's a court of law.
It is. So, and if double jeopardy applies, then Cadet Bone Spurs can use it and get out of his federal cases, right? Then the same would be true for Hunter Biden. But of course, they're not going to practice that because they're hypocrites. It's okay when Republicans want to use it, but when Democrats do, oh no, we can't have that. And it's their obvious game. They're the party of hypocrites, man. I don't know how else to color it.
Is legal proceedings in Congress, is that considered a court of law?
No.
No, it's not.
Because there's no judge, no jury impaneled. the rules of procedure, the civil or criminal rules of procedure, do not apply in Congress like they do in a court proceeding. So that's why the double jeopardy argument is kind of ridiculous for Cadet Bonespurs to try and use it.
Yeah. Well, probably the first cases that were shown for people getting subpoenaed into Congress, I believe, was against mobsters in the late 50s, early 60s.
Bobby Kennedy, that's my earliest memory of it.
Yo, I remember seeing. I mean, I wasn't born yet, but I remember seeing it in historical content, and that was kind of a big deal. People paid attention to it. It was must-see TV when anybody was brought on to Congress.
Yeah.
But it seems like they're losing their credibility now. It's like it's happening so much, and nothing's getting accomplished either way, that Congress is losing their credibility. That's why people, I think, aren't showing up for like subpoenas now.
So they set their precedents, man, with Bannon and Navarro and Dan Scavino, just Mark Meadows blowing off congressional subpoenas. Again, it's okay if they do it, but heaven forbid, now they want to bring in contempt because he wants to testify, just not behind closed doors.
Well, go ahead, man.
I was just going to say they're hypocrites. And, so, I mean, I know they all the way back to Al Capone and stuff and Prohibition and stuff, they were going after these guys. But we all know back then even that government was corrupt and they were making money off bootlegging. So it's all about money, man. Follow the money. Like you said, there's profit in the chaos.
Yeah, there is. So I look at this to how late it is in the election cycle, and how they're utilizing this, and they're making our presidents continually look bad. And with that, it's bugging me because of continuity of government. We're at war right now.
Yeah,
the war is going to keep on progressing further and further, and we don't need to appear weak to other countries and unorganized, even though we are, we're definitely are because of these actions, so there has to be some type of mechanism eventually built where, they threw around the idea where you couldn't talk, bring up charges, I think, against somebody 3 months before the presidential election or something like that, even though they didn't do it.
Yeah, that's a memo from the Office of Legal Counsel. And I think that's within 6 months of the election or 6 weeks of the election, something like that. But again, that's just a memo. That's not law. That's not written down anywhere, signed by the president as law. You can't prosecute me because it's an election cycle. Nowhere is that written. It's just a memo. Yeah,
they need to go ahead and and this might be something that might happen. So about that visa thing, right? I think it happened yesterday or the day before. They're going to go ahead and regulate people more, or they have the ability to investigate citizens, this and that. Well, maybe they could start using mechanisms to block negative messages about our commander-in-chief during times of war. I don't know if that's going to happen or not right away, but that is an interesting thing that happened with that visa thing. Because there's... Go ahead, Gene.
I was just going to say, the answer to that is social media is not run by the government. That's why if you get kicked off social media for something, it's not censorship because it's not the government doing it. And assholes like Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk with the crap they let happen on Facebook and X, that's the reason this is allowed to go, because They make money off of it, boatloads of money, more than we can imagine. And it's as simple as that. Money is your answer.
Well, bring up that money thing is if Biden's actually going to get paid for doing something, Hunter's going to be throwing the money, when he was vice president, why would it only be $36,000? Man, did you think it would be like a 100 million? 100 million, I'd be that's kind of interesting amount.
Enough to buy an
But
outfit at least.
yeah, $36,000. I mean, that's just chump change. I mean, come on. I mean, why would you even think that that's a funny coincidence? I mean, it's just such a low amount. I
Because
mean,
it's an oxymoron, Brent. Republican logic.
ay, carambas.
But this. I know we were talking earlier, and I remember this turmoil about crap being talked about the president going back, and formally stuff being talked about the president that was nonsense going back to Bill Clinton. I remember he lied about his affair with Monica Lewinsky, and because of that lie, oh my God, we've got the smoking gun, right? Newt Gingrich couldn't wait to impeach. And I'm sorry, but that's not a high crime or misdemeanor. And remember what happened to Gingrich? He got run out of town.
Yeah.
So that game was played and lost, but they don't learn from history. So the Iraq War, where we illegally invaded Iraq to get Saddam Hussein, Nancy Pelosi was Speaker of the House. And America was in an uproar. They wanted Bush's head, and his ratings plummeted. And Nancy Pelosi said, no, we're not going to do anything. We're not going to create this divisiveness in the country. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
So now we had Obama in office, right? And you heard all the nasty rhetoric. Oh, my God, we've got to repeal Obamacare. And they talked all this smack, and they had control of government. Boehner was Speaker of the House, then Paul Ryan. You had Mitch McConnell as the Senate Majority Leader, but no official proceedings were ever brought. They just paid a lot of lip service. It wasn't until Cadet Bonespurs got 91 felony indictments against him in federal and state court that now you see the retribution. Oh, well, we have to charge Joe Biden with a crime, even though we don't know what it is yet. We got to think of something, so we just need all the subpoena power. And to me, that's the difference in where I see the division being created among the American people. Nancy Pelosi said no. Newt Gingrich and Mike Johnson and all the elected Republicans now are following the Newt Gingrich path. And they just don't learn from history.
Well, hopefully that'll cause change. I'm sure. I got a feeling this is going to backfire on them. I don't know if it'll be enough to make a dent. We're still going to be close to 50-50, but I'm sure a couple seats will flip over this. And it's kind of funny. Is it Mike Johnson?
Yeah,
Mike Johnson. He says some funny things and has, certain things that he does is, for the Republican Party, but he did just pass that bill where they allowed more funding for Ukraine, and of course they got, I think, a little bit for border protection, blah, blah, blah. But I know he did actually piss off a lot of the GOP base from that.
and they'll do the same thing to him that they did to McCarthy because they can't govern themselves. They're the Keystone Cops, man. McCarthy's gone now, so that's another seat that will have a special election. I think that Republicans will hold on to the majority in Congress until November, And then I think you're going to see an overwhelming flow of Democrats going into the House of Representatives because the people are tired of the ineffectiveness, the corruption, and just the stupidity happening in the Republican Party. The last bill they passed, I'm glad you brought that up, because the last bill they passed before they went on Christmas break was to allow whole milk to get into public school lunches. That was the bill they passed.
What?
I swear to God, I am not making this up. That was the last thing they did. But anyway, I think it's time for our dumbass of the week, man. So I will let you go first. Ensure the guests you have the honors.
All right. Well, I was debating who to rip on this, and it's not a popular decision, probably, but I am a little pissed off with Hunter Biden, so he's my dumbass of the week.
Okay.
So I know he had a drug problem, okay, and I know he had a brother that passed away from cancer in 2014, but he had a drug problem a little bit before that happened, and a drug problem definitely after that point. The problem is his dad was in political office, and a lot of the shit that is happening is directly linked to him working strangely for a couple energy companies, which I don't understand how he would know about energy companies, but from his background. But he just kind of put his father in a bad position. And of course, his dad has to do what a dad does and try to stick up for his son and hope he does seek treatment and this and that. But even when he was supposed to be getting better, whatever, he's still going around and leaving his laptops at places, strange places, to name that, and then not even going back and picking it up because he's so whacked out. So I hope he cleaned up his act. The guy was crack is a hard drug. Okay, I know I've seen people go down on that around me, and it really is a scary drug how it could take over your life. But there's a point where he's getting up in age, and it caused heart problems and this and that. I hope he's doing the right thing now, and he's not going to keep on making his father and the U.S. government look bad, because that's what I'm worried about. Is this is a continuum for him, and then how far will the father go to protect his son? So I worry about he's putting his dad in a bad position. Now his dad has one son left, and I know what happened, of course, with his first wife, and that was tragic as heck. But still, it gets to a point you got to go ahead and pull up those big boy pants, and put on the big boy shoes and try to be the good soldier, the good first son, basically, of our United States president.
I hope you're right.
So,
valid point. Those are all valid points. I could not agree more with you, man. This is not about a family name. This is not about a political party. This is about your actions. And I totally agree. I concur with you, man. I respect your opinion.
So who is your dumbass of the week?
My dumbass of the week is Rudy Giuliani. So, number one, he's in court in Georgia or wherever they are. It might be in Washington, D.C. I don't know. But Rudy Giuliani is in court for his defamation case because Ruby Moss and Shay Freeman Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss are suing him for defamation, right? And
yep.
Last night he goes out onto the steps after leaving the courthouse saying, I'm going to testify, and you guys are all going to know the truth, and, blah, blah, blah. And everything I said about Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss was true. And you have to remember that he's already been found guilty of defamation. The only thing this trial is about is damages. How much are these women going to get paid? And I'm sure he did nothing to endear the jury nor the judge with those comments. And today he was ordered to pay. Well, let me back up because this gets really interesting to me.
Yeah, over 100 million.
Yeah, they were asking for 48 million and the jury awarded 148 million, which leads me to believe that punitive damages were involved, and that's where the extra 100 million came from. So, Rudy, you're a dumbass aggravating the jury who has your life in their hands, and to say some dumb shit like that on the courthouse steps.
Are you sure this wasn't the steps of the Four Season Landscaping Company? I
Oh
mean,
man.
I wonder if he's gonna get. I mean, I wonder how much cash he's got. Yeah, at this point, he probably doesn't even care.
Not much. I expect to see him holding a sign under a bridge someplace.
Oh, Rudy.
Anyway, please, if you like the show, hit subscribe. We're really trying to grow the channel. This is the kind of content you can expect to hear from us. Also, hit that like button, that thumbs up. It lets the rest of the universe know we exist out there. And that bell on the right is the notification bell. Hit that and you'll be notified when we go live and put new content out there. So that's all the time we have for tonight. I want to say thank you to my man on the street, Brent.
All right, Gene, it was a fun show, brother.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And again, I apologize. I feel bad. Zane and I were supposed to be here last night, but I hope he's having a great time this evening. So see you next week. Remember, be kind to one another. Treat each other the way you want to be treated. And don't be a hypocrite. Good night.